July 2013. Into the unknown. Our 5-member team flew into Leh to explore a route over the Sakang Col into the North Shukpa Kunchang Glacier and attempt peaks in East Karakoram.
I gave him 100 because he was at You happy with today?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's set now.
So you've managed to reorganize the cook and.
Yeah, I think somewhere the cook was smiling today. Which is fantastic.
Yeah, he's relaxed. He's
It
relaxed.
was very tense yesterday.
Such a beautiful place, beds of flowers. That's Vineeta going down to the cars. We had a lovely half-an-hour walk to acclimatize.
We're at 5,000 metres at the Wali La, the pass that leads us into the next valley, the valley of the Nubra, which is actually where we're going to go down to, camp for a couple of days, reorganise the loads again, make sure the porters are all ready to go, and then start walking to base camp. We've just driven up here in these four-wheel drives from Leh, which is 3,500 metres. So between 3,500 metres and here at 5, considerable height gain, right? And we're still not acclimatised, but we're getting there. The last few days we've been filming, getting to know each other a lot more, doing little walks, you know, gaining altitude. We had a really rainy day the other day, but it got us moving well and moving together above all. The team seems to be coming together. I think we're starting to get excited about the thought of now actually going climbing. Going at least to see the mountain, we've come all this way to climb. It's great, it's beautiful. All that struggling to get ready to come here seems as well worthwhile now actually.
Nubra Valley, the staging point of our expedition. Due to the difficulty getting sufficient porters to carry our loads to base camp, we sorted our loads since only the essential could go up with us. The rest would come up later. Andy, how did you like the monastery?
Really good actually. I love visiting places like this. I mean, mostly for its spiritual quality and then architectural, and of course the art, the frescoes, the carvings. That's a good thing for the expedition, this thing we're going to all embark on, you know.
We've had our anxious moments, but I think it's all sort of falling in place and settling down. And really look forward to starting a trek in tomorrow.
Yeah.
But this rest day was good because it allows us also to sort of compose ourselves.
It's all coming together and slowly but surely, and tomorrow's the walk in, and eventually there's a mountain. I'm so glad to be on the route again. I was kind of dreading this steep climb up here. You know, instead of like a nice warm-up walk, you hit the steep immediately. We've got the temperature on the side, that's good. No sun, and worried about getting wet. Not an easy day for anybody, including the porters, and there's some pretty technical sections where, you know, there's fixed rope and some climbing, scrambling and all that, and with a big load on your back it's quite dangerous. First day of the walk-in. The expedition really has started now. Now we're up at 4,300 metres, having walked for about 7 hours today, I think. gained 1,100 metres. Tomorrow base camp. Weather's still a bit dubious, eh? Sometimes it's scorching hot. Generally it's like overcast. It's starting to cool down, right? Just up there, right? Somewhere up there is base camp. Well, the weather's not getting any better. We've just done a river crossing, right? And porters managed to get through pretty well. They're carrying heavier loads, don't forget. One actually slipped and almost went in. I just managed to catch him.
This is the alu, and it's been sitting in, it's had hot water poured over it, it's been sitting for a few minutes. This is to compare to after having it boiled.
Oh, potatoes.
Yeah, potatoes.
Anticipating the difficulty of the terrain and logistics, Vineeta had planned dehydrated meals and lightweight rations for the expedition.
We were going to stop because we knew where we were going, and he just had a t-shirt.
Scoping out the route up the glacier to find advanced base camp. Karakoram heat's like, on the high glaciers here, there's like moraine, ice, and above all, heat.
Hello everyone, my name is and I'm from Dorji. So my age is 21.
We're just going to dump this rope at the col.
I see you've brought enough equipment anyway.
Actually excited about seeing around the bend.
Definitely.
That's what
Yeah.
drives me all the time on an expedition. I want to just look at something new
And I can't wait to say, Divyesh has gone around the bend.
So this is like for three of us, right? I mean, we've argued about what to take, keep it light, what we're doing when we get over there. We're going to go to the col, camp this side, sort that, go to the other side. So we basically got two bivvy tents, right? Stoves, because there's three of us, or
Yeah.
that could almost be pared down to one. We've got like munchie bars like this each. That's what we're going to be drinking to balance out the loads. Climbing gear. But yeah, plus clothing, don't forget as well. There's work to do at the col when we get there as well, to make sure everything's all right to get over.
So if we make it in good time tomorrow to the basin, then maybe we can go up to the col. But I honestly, I don't fancy spending 2 nights at the basin. I'd rather get across kind of.
Beginning of the exploration. We're going to have a look at this col going up into a hidden basin. We're also going to try to climb Divyesh's col here to have a look at the backside of the whole thing. See what it's like.
Victor went down the ropes for about 150-200 meters. We wanted to take a look at it, whether it's safe enough for the entire team to go down. So Samgyal and myself followed Victor to the point to which the ropes had been fixed, and from there on what appeared to be a ice slope down all the way to the glacier. It's pretty loose, some sections are pretty steep, and some sections are exposed to some rockfall from above. The risk levels are quite high.
There's a biggish snow slope there with some small seracs right in the middle of it. And above it there's a col with some fairly small cornices. And if we can find an easy or safe way, at least to reach the top of that, then I feel that's probably the safest way to cross this col. We always knew from the start of the expedition, from the start of the planning months ago, that the crux was going to be getting from that glacier to that glacier.
We've been mulling over all these thoughts between all of us and got a feedback from the Sherpa also. And I think what we've all come to a consensus is to have a look for a day or two at an alternative snow slope which you see coming down the other side, which seems to be a very safe route compared to what we've seen here.
These cols need bits of rope fixing to help the Sherpas go over with heavy loads, ourselves as well, and give us a means of escaping this glacier to get back to this one.
So we've been trying to get up this col on the left. Here's a close-up of it. Now we're going to look at this long snow slope on the going up to the notch in the ridge. I'm going to see if that works for us. So we're now at the col that it's taken us almost a week to find a way through to this glacier, trying different routes. It's good to have fixed ropes because it gets us out of trouble if we're on the far side of this North Shukpa Glacier that we're looking at.
It had been a week of struggle finding a route across. Each time we went up for a recce, it was like climbing a 6,000 meter peak, and each of us had to do this about 4 times. We now prepared for the first crossing of the Sakang Col into the North Shukpa Kunchang Glacier. 14 days of food and equipment was a lot of load to carry.
Hi, that's Vineeta and me leaving for the camp across the Col.
We camped freezing cold this morning. And
it's about 8 o'clock in the morning.
we're getting ready since 5 o'clock. And just getting ready in the freezing cold was a task in itself.
4 Sherpas and the 3 British members moving ahead. We have to climb from 5,850 meters to 6,120 meters and then down the other side to about 5,600 meters.
Been up and down to this altitude, this col, 4 or 5 times now, I can't remember.
But this is the first time we've all been on this col.
Yeah, this is the real col over into the...
Okay. Bye Vinny. See you. Going down this ice tunnel. What an amazing route. It's going to be tough going up this. Let me get back.
How was your descent down this pass?
We had a very narrow escape. There was a rock fall while we were rappelling down, and luckily nobody got hurt. But it's really shaken me up, and all is well that ends well. We are about 150 meters from the glacier now, and the teamwork is amazing. The Sherpas are doing a wonderful job of lowering all the loads.
Come and then you have to come across the ice to this part.
The Sherpas have rigged up this quite amazing 200-meter cord to lower loads down, so save themselves having to go right down with loads. Good way to do the loads?
Yes.
Happy with this?
Yes, happy.
It's quick?
This rock pause.
Yeah. We had a lot of rockfall when I'm coming down, huh?
Yeah.
It's ingenious, so clever. This slope on the right is the one that we first looked at, and that's the sooner I got down to the glacier, then there was the biggest rockfall straight down it. It was terrifying.
Avalanche, sir.
North face of Saser Kangri too.
Saser Group 2. 101. 2 are. 2.
So what we're hoping is, down on this glacier now, now that we've broken into new territory, into the promised land, something will happen round the corner. Round the corner on the left.
The only thing that appealed to me is the you know, stepping into the unknown, a call that takes you beyond something else. Peer around the corner, yeah, sure, I'm curious like a cat, aren't I? And today, this thing, I mean, like, this is one hell of a call. It's like a bloody major alpine route. And we've got to climb this to get out again, because you can't trust those fixed ropes that are in. So somebody's got to climb it and refix. We'll do it, and in the dark and the, you know, the cold and all the rest when it's solid.
Trying to make it, yeah. मुझे ये पत्थर इधर चाहिए ऐसा यहाँ पे चाहिए.
We are in the proximity of 4,000-7,000.
It's a very special place, eh?
It's a very special place.
Well, here we are, surrounded by 7,000 meter peaks. And the route just behind Andy's nose is over this glacier is what we hope will lead to the northeast spur, east spur or north face of Chamsen, which is the unclimbed one. This is Saser 1, 7,500 meters approximately. And to the left of it is Saser 3, which is about 7.3. Both of these are one ascent by the route that goes up through the glaciers in front of us. Behind us, Saser 2, a huge north face. Our mountain, Chamsen, is behind this. This is the south buttress of Chamsen, and we're hoping to find a route round the back of it. We have some quite tired people here.
What makes you say that?
What did you say?
He says, we have some quite tired people here. As I said, what makes you say that? No, we're just like absorbing the atmosphere, you know.
It's right above Andy's head, which may threaten our approach route. I'm hoping goes through the right side of this icefall, and then we're going to see what's above. The really special thing is almost certain that nobody else has ever been here. Lots of slack. Feed it up with the other hand.
We were now two independent teams climbing in our own style. The British were looking for a route to climb from the north. We Indians had explored a route from the south.
So we've just come down from exploration. You've had a really good exploration.
We had a good exploration this morning. We went up to the proposed camp.
To the West Ridge camp,
To the West Ridge camp. And then when we got back, and at that time I got to know that the Sherpas have refused to go back and
To cross the
resupply.
Col.
And they are really concerned about the rockfall, and I can understand that. But that's really going to bring us into some difficult issues with supplies, and we are running short on fuel. We will take a call after 4 days.
Have you enough fuel for 4 days?
We have enough fuel.
So it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. We hope to do the mountain in the next 4 or 5 days. If things go well, and we look at the route going up to Plateau Peak, but that route is quite serious stuff. And what I
what we decided is once we are actually climbing
Chamsen,
we'll get a good view of the entire ice fall. And that will give us a good point of decision on whether we want to really go ahead or not.
Climbing something here, you've got to have energy left to be able to go back up there. Yeah, it's quite impressive actually, yeah.
We Indians had shifted camp to attempt Chamshen. Unfortunately, we had heavy snowfall and we were forced to return to Chamshen camp. The British, who were resting at Chamshen camp, decided to cross back over the Sakang Col to resupply, or maybe climb something else. But fate had something else in store for us. 10 p.m., 14th August, disaster struck.
I mean, there's nothing you can do in these circumstances. It's like, you know, you're just waiting to see whether you're going to die or not. You don't feel any emotion about it. You just think, you know, it's you know, we don't know what's going to happen. Let's hope that we're still alive when it all stops. And it was very, very violent. It was one of the most violent things I've experienced.
15th August, Suzanne and Victor came back to camp for help, leaving a severely injured Andy at a safe spot.
Below the col, camping in a bit of a storm, similar place to we camped coming down. There were the avalanches shredding off. We'd been shaken by a few. Tents were properly anchored and all that. The big one came, took my tent. It ripped all the moorings out of it. I was airborne for a ways, and then suddenly into a crevasse, and that was the most horrible, because I expected to roll with a tent and everything, and I was going head first, backwards, maybe up to 20 meters. The floor ripped somehow, and everything, me included, came out, with my left elbow wedged in the ice, in agony from the back that we've just examined. I realised there were things around me, objects, and above all, a whistle. But I'd taken off and put it around my neck. I started whistling, but not expecting a reply from Victor or Susan. Then, eventually, after a certain period, I realised there were lights. I could see headlights on the surface. I continued whistling. I wasn't sure if they could localise my position exactly. After a while, Victor came down, rappelled into the crevasse, and he'd set up a crevasse rescue system, and eventually got me out of it.
Doing a stock take, having got rid of Andy. Finally the weather seems to be clearing up after... How many days of bad weather have we had now?
5.
The weather had settled. We had only 4 days on hand and barely enough rations. The team decided to attempt Chamshen. The route was through heavily crevassed glacier and up a 500-meter ice wall. The climb was difficult, steep, with a massive bergschrund to cross en route. We had to climb 500 meters along a ridge of 1.5 kilometers.
Soft snow.
Soft snow. Good snow. Like it. So, Divyesh, how close are we to the summit?
From what it appears, I would think about 30 meters, 40 meters maybe. As long as it's not a false summit. I mean, we'll only know when we get there.
Well, let's get going.
Yes, the summit was still further, and so we climbed on.
Vinny! Wow! And that's the glacier which comes up to our ABC.
One ascent, and it looks like it's absolutely reamed with really interesting mixed lines. It's just extraordinary view.
(7017 meters). We were on the summit, the first ascent of this remote peak we named Chamshen. After months of preparation and training, our dream had come true. We spent half an hour enjoying the views all around us and celebrating.